Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Wrestling Unlimited. If you're watching live, we're trying this again. If you're watching later, we had issues. First time we tried to go live here, bunch of internet problems. I reset my modem really fast. Did one of the quick resets on it, and boom, we're back live. We're good to go. We're talking NXT and AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday. Both shows ran tonight. And yeah, we've got, you don't see him, but we've got Luke here with us, who's actually at NXT live with his mom tonight. So once again, Luke, give everybody your quick thoughts on the show. You said your mom enjoyed it and whatnot. What was it like in not St. Louis, but Chesterfield, Missouri at the factory?
And, you know, I know, at least to me, I feel like those smaller venues, like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not like a regular Raw venue, but those smaller venues still are still pretty fun, though. Honestly, I feel like you can really engage more with the live crowd, in my opinion.
Right.
I don't know if it's the same way, but I thought the venue was pretty cool. I think the only thing that was like difficult for me was like the entrance ramp, because I know I couldn't really see the full ramp, and to me it looked like there was actually like steps there for people to actually go up those steps.
Okay. Yeah, see, it didn't come off like that on TV. It just seemed like they have the stage, and then they had the ramp to go down towards the ring. Is how it looked on TV.
I couldn't see like them coming out of Gorilla, because the ringside,
right,
next to Gorilla, high up, so we couldn't really see them come out of Gorilla.
Yeah, it seems like they just came straight out from the from center of the screen.
Yeah, so yeah, because ringside, like right next to Gorilla, it was like pretty high up, so
right,
we couldn't really come out of Gorilla. But overall, it was pretty cool. We couldn't really see the people like going through the tables and stuff, because we couldn't really see the announce table.
Oh yeah, because where you were sitting. Yeah, I can see that.
I'm on the floor, so I couldn't really see much of the outside stuff.
That is the one drawback of floor seats. Sometimes you won't see things around the ring as easily if you were more up and elevated.
Also, there was no jumbotron, so it's not like you can like look on the jumbotron, see what's going on.
That's, yeah, true.
Right? And they didn't really they didn't really show any of the wrestling like on the screen where they were showing like the tight, what's that called?
Well, I mean, the Titantrons, what they called it back in the day. WWE, so that's a Vince call from about 2000 and I want to say like 16, because there was a time when Vince just eventually was like, I don't want the action on the actual big screen because it looks weird on TV when you. So his thing was, if you have like a camera shot from over by commentary and you're shooting into the ring, and then you also see it on the screen behind that, his thing was it looks weird on TV. So they haven't actually put the footage on the Titantron screen in almost a decade. They just run it on the big screen in the building, the one above the ring. Yeah,
so like I couldn't really see the stuff outside the ring. I can only see stuff like in the ring.
Right.
But overall, it wasn't bad. I mean, I wasn't complaining. I was still pretty close to the ring, with it being like a smaller venue and stuff.
Yeah, it was so at the time the show started, WrestleTix said there was one ticket left available to buy. It was 1,831 tickets out with one ticket left. So there's 1,800 people there.
Before the show, I will say this, before the show, I was having trouble logging into Ticketmaster to like access my tickets. And then me and my mom were in the car. We were trying to log in Ticketmaster, and we were eventually like, all right, let's just go to the ticket booth and see if they can help us out, or the box office. There was a whole line of people who had the same issue as me. I guess there was some issue with Ticketmaster where people couldn't log in to get access their tickets.
That's weird.
But then I think eventually there was one guy that said, I finally logged in. And right when he said that, I logged in as well, and I got to access my.
So could it have been so many people around that building trying to log in and use Wi-Fi? Were you on Wi-Fi?
No, I was just using my hotspot, I guess.
Well, I know with like mobile devices and stuff, if there's a bunch of people in one small congested area trying to use internet at the same time, I mean, Wi-Fi or not, it could slow things down. Like when you go to a big stadium, like a football game or something like that, the internet's sometimes slow because so many people are trying to use the Wi-Fi network at the same time.
We weren't even connected to Wi-Fi. I think we just pulled up and we were just
not even just the Wi-Fi. So it could even just be so it's the thing with even just so basically what it is the mobile network, like the satellite, everyone trying to connect to the satellites in the sky at the same time. Not even just the Wi-Fi. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing I've talked to people about before. It's a nerdy thing.
I almost cried though, because I was like, if we don't access these tickets, we don't even get to go in.
Right? Oh no, I would have threw a fit if it was me. I would be like, I'm getting in. You're gonna let me in.
I guess some people, they just show them the email confirmation, say they bought the tickets, show them the ID. So I guess maybe they just like printed off tickets for them.
Oh,
so that's it. For me, like when I bought the tickets for me and my mom, it showed us the confirmation email, like sections, seat number, and stuff.
Right.
So like I think our plan was we were just gonna go up to the booth, show them like, hey, we bought these tickets. Ticketmaster isn't letting us log in, and we would show them my ID. Then I guess they would probably print out those tickets for us. Maybe I don't know.
There may have been a way for them to pull it up if you could verify you and stuff. So who would you say got the biggest reaction live? Was it Orton?
I would say it was Orton, but like at the beginning, like Jey Uso got a pretty big reaction.
For what? The 45 to 60 seconds he was out there? That was nothing.
It was nothing, but he did get a good reaction, though.
That's what I was going to say. Because him and Orton, it felt like they got the biggest reactions on television.
Mainly because they were main roster guys.
Exactly. Well, you can say that about Jade and Bianca, and I felt like they just treated them like the rest of everybody.
I mean,
did that feel different? Did it feel different there?
I mean, a little bit. I know during the match, people kept chanting, "We want Jade."
Gotcha.
But I mean, I don't know. I think it was probably different because I don't know. Probably because I think Jay's popularity probably helped with it, and same with Orton because Orton's a local. He's a St. Louis local.
Yeah.
So that's why it's different for Randy, and I think Jay was just more popular than both Jade and Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
But
so what were your takeaways as far as like the show overall?
Show overall was pretty good. I mean, was it the best show I've been to ever? No, but overall it was still a pretty good show for the venue size.
Right.
I was a little nervous how my mom was going to react to Sexy Red, but it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't.
They kept that censored for broadcast television, for a network channel.
Yeah. Then I thought the Ethan Page segment where he cut her off was funny.
So here's one thing. You couldn't see commentary, could you?
No, I couldn't.
When Sexy Red was out there, I guess she was rapping or whatever, Booker stood up and he was like getting it in. Like Booker was going hard.
Yeah, I saw your tweet about that, and I thought that was funny. Yeah,
Booker was, as they say, getting it. He was having some fun with it.
I was a little disappointed there was no TNA wrestlers. I thought there was going to be at least one TNA wrestler like showing up on the show for something.
I don't know. I mean, they didn't advertise any or tease any. The big shocker was, well, here's my one question. Did you see any of the backstage stuff at all?
We saw the backstage stuff. The only backstage we didn't see was the
very end.
The very end.
Oh, okay.
But we saw.
So like you saw Nikita Lyons and her little return and stuff?
Yes, we saw that.
Okay,
we saw the Charlie stuff. We saw the.
Because those were the Julie stuff. Because the two surprises really was Stephanie Vicure and then, hey, Nikita Lyons is back.
Yeah, Stephanie Vicure she got a pretty decent reaction as well. I mean, I kind of knew she was going to come out right when Julia said, "Hello, old friend."
Yeah, that's what I assumed as well.
But overall, it's a pretty good show. My mom enjoyed it. She definitely said she wants to go back to another one.
Nice.
I pitched we can go to Royal Rumble together in Indianapolis.
There you go. That'd be fun.
I also got a Randy Orton T-shirt that says "One Night Only RKO and NXT."
Oh, that's
St.
cool.
Louis.
Even though Javon botched the RKO.
He did. I mean, I didn't really notice it, but I'm sure it was very noticeable on TV.
Very noticeable on TV to where he botches it. Randy kind of gives him a look and like just stares at him for a second, picks him up and just drops him.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
he tried to do like a corkscrew dive back to. It looked like. So he did the os cutter at one point off the top rope, hit Orton with it. So it looked like he was going to try and do that again, but a corkscrew version. And when he did the corkscrew, his whole body twisted sideways, and he just wasn't there for Orton. That's what happened.
Yeah. Also, one more thing. Before I got into the show, I was set my stuff down to go to security. Someone behind me recognized me from PW Unlimited and said, "Hey, aren't you from YouTube Pro Wrestling Unlimited?"
That's cool.
I will say that I didn't catch your name, but thank you for recognizing me, because that was actually the first time someone actually recognized me from this channel. And you really put like a big smile on my mom's face, because that really made her happy. So I appreciate that. I really do.
Hey,
and
it proves that even if we connect with only a couple people, you've connected to somebody.
Yeah, that was like, ever since I've been doing the podcast, that guy was the first person to recognize me. And that actually felt pretty cool. So I appreciate that.
That's awesome. That's very awesome. But overall, NXT really good. We're going to talk about that here first before we get into Dynamite. But I don't want to keep Luke too late. It's already pretty late. I know he's got stuff to deal with. So any other things you want to mention before you cut out?
I mean, I will say the Chicago show is definitely better. But the St. Louis show still wasn't bad. I mean, I thought it was very enjoyable. Even with like Tony D'Angelo winning the North American title, you know, it's always cool to see a new champion crowned when you're at a wrestling show. Like, no matter what like title it is per se, I think it's always cool.
Right.
Overall, I thought it was a pretty good show. You know, first time I went to an NXT show, I mean, I want to say I've been to like almost every WWE like show that's not Mania per se. I guess the only one I would say I haven't been to would be like Chamber.
Okay. Well, you ain't going to go next year because they're going to be in the UK.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be back in the States anytime soon.
Yeah, Chamber is going to either be in Birmingham or Manchester next year in the UK.
Yeah, but overall, that's kind of all I got.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you jumping on here and just giving me your thoughts live, not from the building, but from being there live. Really cool that you can get that perspective. Go for it.
I almost FaceTimed you because I wanted to show you like the arena.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how that works with like Android to iPhone. We could have just done it through
could have done through like Discord.
But then when I saw your message, I was already looking at like all the photos and stuff. But it would have been cool like to do it and whatnot. Maybe another time when you're at a show, and then we can get like a live recording.
It almost felt like it almost felt like it was the St. Louis version of the PC almost.
I could see that because of the size and everything. There was 18. So again, like I said earlier, WrestleTix said there was 1,800 people there. And then I think, and it probably sold, but there was right when the show was starting, WrestleTix equated it to 1 ticket left. So they were supposed to be in the same building from last night at Raw, and that they just weren't selling tickets for.
Which is kind of surprising, honestly, considering how hard they were pushing the show.
Right. But it happens.
It does happen.
I mean, honestly, I think it was better this way because it was a cool looking show. It was different, and it wasn't just like, oh, this looks like Raw last night, you know, with less people.
Right.
I think overall it was a positive, moving the show and putting it in this small, cool, different, intimate bar setting building.
I do agree.
So.
But yeah, that's kind of but I'm going to head off because I need to get something to eat. I am starving, and it's also getting time late, so I'm going to let you take over.
All right. Thanks for jumping on, and I will talk to you later.
All right.
See ya. With all of that, we've got 2 shows to talk about here. AEW Dynamite NXT on the CW. And before I get into all that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you're watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here, PWU Unlimited. Also, remember to help us out over on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know when we go live. And that way you know when we post to the community tab. Also, remember, if you want to support in another way, you can hit the join button and become a channel member. Even if you do so at just the $1 tier, we greatly, greatly appreciate it, whether that is here on YouTube or patreon.com/PWU Unlimited. And then remember to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air. You can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PWU Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you're getting some of the new skins in Fortnite. I think it's Cruella de Vil. Who is it? It's Cruella de Vil. Captain Hook, maybe? Give me 2 seconds so I can look it up. There's some Disney villains coming to Fortnite relatively soon, I want to say. And maybe you want to buy those skins, get those skins. It is, and I know they just did add, they had their Saw collection just dropped as well. It is Captain Hook, Maleficent, and Cruella de Vil coming in the next update to Fortnite. And then Jigsaw has dropped as well. Use our code PWUNLIMITED for all Epic Games and Epic Games Store purchases. As far as NXT does go, we got NXT on the CW network. Show opens up with the NXT champion, Big Trick Williams. Big Trick Willie, as he calls himself. And even though they kept saying, we're here in St. Louis, we're at the factory in St. Louis, as Luke told us, that's not St. Louis. Technically, it's Chesterfield, right outside of St. Louis. Trick Williams enters for his monologue. Williams gave himself a new nickname, Trick at 2-Time. He says that it's 2 times because he is a 2-time champion. Williams is soon interrupted by Wesley, who was up in the rafters, I guess you would say, almost the balcony seats. That's what it is, balcony seats. He's in the crowd. He cut a promo on Williams. Basically, he wants to go after the NXT championship. Lee said Trick is not, quote, it. And Lee vows to take the title from him. Then, all of a sudden, we hear the music of Jey Uso. Jey Uso makes his way out to the ring to a huge pop from the crowd here. Treated him like a superstar. He gets the microphone, says, Jey Uso is in your city. Trick then thanks him for being there. Crowd yells yeet, and that was it. And then the crowd chanted, whoop that Trick, yeet, whoop that Trick, yeet. That was it. That was what they used Jey Uso. They kept Jey Uso there for an extra day just so we could do that. Just so we could do that. Okay. That's kind of a nothing segment. Well, not nothing segment because it's set up. Wesley wants to go after the title. So we'll see. But the Jey Uso thing was kind of just meh. Then they go from the previous segment right into introductions for the first match, which is a 6-woman tag. Is the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, teaming with the NXT Women's North American Champion, Kalani Jordan, against Fatal Influence, Fallon Henley, JC Jane, and Jasmine Nix. I will say, the match is okay. It was just okay. So, Fallon Henley and Kalani Jordan started things off against one another. The heel trio made quick tags, and Jordan is seemingly soon in trouble. She countered a little bit of the moves and fired up. Cargill and Belair then came in to help her. They cleaned house, and the baby faces looked strong. Fallon Henley was hanging in the ring at one point with a main roster talent like Belair and looked really good against her. Like Fallon Henley and Bianca in the ring together made me go, why is Fallon not on the main roster? Like Fallon and Bianca in there look like a match I could see on a Monday Night Raw or a Friday Night SmackDown. Fallon Henley didn't look like when Jasmine Nix was in the ring, or even JC Jane, unfortunately, was in the ring. It looked like, oh, yeah, those are NXT wrestlers. But for some reason, the chemistry that Fallon seemed to have with Bianca just felt like, why is she still in NXT? She needs to be called up. Fallon Henley needs to go to the main roster. So, there's a distraction spot by the heels that led to a low bridge on Jordan when she tagged back in, and she took a bump on the floor, and the show got to its first commercial break. When we come back, there was a hot tag, and Bianca ran wild. She got to shine before tagging out. Bianca and Jade with some tandem offense on Jasmine Nix. Jordan then followed this up with a split-legged moonsault, and Jordan pinned Jasmine Nix to pick up the victory. So again, okay match. Everybody worked well together, I thought. Nothing seemed out of place, and yeah, good opening match for the show. We show the NXT Tag Team Champions, Nathan Frazier and Axiom, getting ready with Randy Orton, of all people. I'm like, oh, Randy don't got his own locker room? They're not even in a locker room. They're just in a room with some couches and chairs. Orton goes, hey, here's Javon Evans. How fast is Javon? And Axiom's like, I think he's the fastest man in NXT. And Frazier goes, excuse me? I don't know if he's faster than me. And Frazier then apologizes for losing his temper a little bit. And Randy goes, whoa, no. Something you need to know. Sometimes losing your temper is not a bad thing. Orton says that sometimes you just need to find your place. Orton then wishes them good luck in their tag team title defense. So Sarah Shriver goes to interview Julia, and we hear a knock on the door. The door opens, and you hear Sarah go, I'm trying to conduct an inner. Julia goes, oh, hello there, old friend. And she kind of looks at Sarah and leaves. And so it's like, oh, who is this? Who is this? I think we know. And it was exactly who we thought. But first, Roxanne Perez had to come to the ring. Roxanne Perez came down to the ring and she cut a promo. It wasn't the best. She botched a couple lines. You could tell, like, she's like, you know, sometimes old relationships come back around. I'm like, oh, yeah. That is Roxanne's one weakness, promos. Because she always does 90% of the time sound like somebody just reciting lines. Like, I practiced these lines for the last 3 hours and I'm trying to just say them exactly how they're written. You get Roxanne in a ring and she's probably better than almost anybody on this roster, not just the NXT brand, but like all of WWE. She's one of the best actual wrestlers they've got. But when it comes to the promo stuff, that's where Roxanne needs NXT still a little bit. Like I always say, Roxanne can go to the main roster right now. And I think she would be fine if they were to call her up now. But she does need work on her promos because her delivery still is stiff at times. Actually, a lot of times. And it does sound like somebody reciting lines 90% of the time. So Roxanne's out there. She's talking about Cora Jade, and she brings out Cora Jade. Jade makes her way out to the ring. But not before Jade. Jade then comes out and cuts a promo. Jade claims that not even Perez knew that she was going to be there last week. Jade says she is back, and this is the generation of Jade. Jade said, you used to be somebody that I didn't like who you were, but I like who you're becoming. I like who you are now. Jade says that Perez deserves to be the champion and is the best that they have here. Jade also put over Perez's heel persona, and Jade says this is why they should be friends again. And I'm like, I'm not really digging this. This is kind of boring. Jade then says, us together? Well, it's bad for the rest of the roster. Perez said that she should have listened to Jade a long while ago. Perez finally learned their lesson. Then Julia's music would hit, and Julia would walk out onto the stage, onto the ramp, and she would stop at the bottom of the ramp, And Jade and Roxanne just go, come on, Julia, get in the ring with us. What are you waiting for? You scared? What are you waiting for? Huh? And out comes the old friend, Stephanie Vaquer. Is it Vaquer or Vacker? Because they said it both ways tonight. Like, commentary all said Stephanie Vaquer, but then when Ren Sinclair was like, I want to fight her next week, Stephanie Vaquer is here. So which is it? Is it Vaquer or Vacker? Anyways, Stephanie Vaquer runs down to the ring. Jade follows her. They jump in. They attack. They go after Jade and Perez. The baby faces clean house. The NXT Women's title is left in the middle of the ring. Both baby faces pick up the belt and show they both want the title. So seemingly, I think this is going to lead to them teaming together against Cora and Roxanne, and then eventually maybe fighting each other for a number one contendership. It was okay. But I just, the Roxanne Cora stuff. Cora is the better promo of the two. But it still all was kind of just, developmental promo cutting. Fonzie, I know how it's spelled. But to tell me over text how to say it, you would need to like spell it phonetically. So Ren Sinclair's backstage with No Quarter Cat's crew. And she's talking about, what we just saw on the screen. And then she said that she wants to face Stephanie Vaquer next week. And Charlie Dempsey's like, see, initiative. Wanting to go out there and have matches. That's what you guys need. More initiative. Then they start walking around and they come up on Lexis King. Lexis King wanted some idea on a gimmick match where Oro Mensah couldn't cheat or couldn't trick his way into a victory. Dempsey then starts plugging like rounds with matches and stuff. And yeah, I really think, I don't know. Something about a gentleman's agreement match. I don't even know what that is. But we're going to get it next week, I guess. So then we have the NXT North American Championship on the line. It was Obafemi defending against Tony D'Angelo. So we got a new champion here. And I don't know what is next for Obafemi. Like, Obafemi can just get a rematch and try to get the title back, maybe move up to go for the NXT title against Trick, but that's not going to be anytime soon because we know that he's not in the mix for the Halloween Havoc pay-per-view. So it's like, honestly, if they were to like bring Obafemi to the main roster now, I wouldn't hate it. I'm going to say it right now, and I'm not the only one that says this because I've heard other people say it this week. Obafemi has everything to be a future world champion in this company, like WWE or World Heavyweight. Femi looked strong early on, while the Dawn of NXT looked like he was outsmarting the champion at times. Turns out Femi outsmarted him, though, as Femi chokeslammed D'Angelo on the edge of the ring, just as we go to a commercial break. D'Angelo is being worked over when the show returns. There's a crowbar slid into the ring for D'Angelo to use, but he tossed it out because he doesn't want to win that way. It was a close near fall for D'Angelo, and D'Angelo, after D'Angelo powerbombs Femi through the announce table, Femi first teased putting D'Angelo through the desk, but then the Don countered him, and that foreshadowed the finish. For the finish of the match, Femi then goes for a powerbomb, but D'Angelo counters with a sunset flip and a roll-up. D'Angelo then holds Femi down. 1, 2, 3. New NXT North American champion. But Tony D'Angelo did do it. My big question is, why do it this week in St. Louis and not last week in his hometown? I get it. We already had 2 title matches on that show. They didn't want to load it up with 3. So I understand that. But if you keep saying, this guy's from Chicago, he's got friends and family here, it would have been a bigger moment, I felt like, for him winning the belt. We go back to the PC next week, and they're going to do a family celebration with Tony D'Angelo and the family. But yeah, kudos to Tony D. He's the new NXT North American champion, and I couldn't be happier for him. I think he's a great wrestler. Much deserved. Flash Legend and Jakara Jackson are in the back when they run up on Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. They state that they want a challenge for the women's tag team titles. And Bianca kind of accepts. No, Jade kind of accepts. And then Bianca's just like, no. We ain't coming to you to defend our titles, you got to come to us. So come meet us on SmackDown. And I'm like, wait, did you just try to say that you're better than NXT and NXT's beneath you? Because you just worked a damn match in NXT. So this came off weird, but it was announced later in the night that Metaphor will challenge for the titles Friday on SmackDown. It just felt very weird. And Bianca has been giving me, and I could be wrong on this, heel vibes recently. I don't know what it is, but I've been getting like, I'm better than you kind of heel vibes from Bianca recently. Just weird. But it was just the way she was just like, no. We ain't coming to you to defend our titles. You can come to us. Like we're better than you, we're better than NXT thing. But it's like, yeah, but you just wrestled a match in NXT. So I don't know. I was confused a little bit by this. So then Lola Vice is in the back with Ava. And she's like, oh, I want to fight Jada Parker. And Ava's like, good, because Jada told me she wants you. Maybe I could set this. And then Jada goes like this. Or I don't need headphones anymore. Luke's not on here. Ava goes, the worst phone acting. She's like, yeah, come in my office. And then immediately, hey, how's it going? So were you talking on Nikita on the phone? Nikita Lyons walks in. And she's like, hey, Lola, I know you got problems with people here, but I got a meeting with Ava. You might want to get. And Lola's like, no, I was here first. I need to talk to Ava to get a match, this and that. And Ava just goes, you know what? I brought Nikita here to talk about who her first opponent back's going to be, and I think I found it. So next week on NXT, we have learned that it will be Nikita Lyons taking on Lola Vice. Then we had the NXT Tag Team Championships on the line. It was Fraxium, Nathan Frazier and Axiom, defending against A-Town Down Under. But the match was good. About a minute and a half or 2 minutes in, they go to a commercial break. Despite some high-flying moves early on, the babyface champs were in peril when the show returned from the break. Excuse me. Trying not to burp right in the microphone. Axiom is trying to rally when the show returns from the break, but a hot tag is broken up. A-Town Down Under continued to isolate Axiom. He eventually shoves Theory off the ropes, and Axiom lands with a splash. There's a hot tag to Frazier, and they ran wild with some high-speed spots. Theory then cut off Axiom at one point, and he got a few near falls here. Axiom tags back in, and the champs are soon in control with tandem offense. The match then really heats up from here, and the pace quickens. There's a cool spot with double submissions from the tag team champs, so they're broken up. Axiom then cut Waller off into a rear naked choke, and Frazier then catches him with a guillotine choke on Theory. He then counters Frazier, and Theory suplexes Frazier on Axiom to break up the submissions. The finish of the match then sees the champs in hit tandem moves. There's a Spanish fly by Axiom, followed by a Phoenix splash by Frazier, and Frazier covers Theory for the pinfall victory to retain the titles. So for Axiom, do keep their belts here in NXT. The video package recaps the story with Ridge Holland and Chase U. Holland is then being interviewed when he is then attacked by Riley Osborne. They kind of have a pull-apart brawl here, and a singles match is eventually going to happen. Then we get a music event. Sexy Red. So Sexy Red's out here rapping or whatever she's doing. I don't know. Not my demo. I'm not the demo for this. So yeah. Sexy Red's doing her thing. Booker's getting it. Booker's all like, yeah, man. Oh, and he's like, jamming out and getting it. But eventually, she's interrupted by Ethan Page. He gets in the ring to cut a promo. Red's looking on as Page rants and raves. Page says that this is his ring. And he is not leaving until he gets a rematch with Trick. Javon Evans then interrupts. Evans confronts Page in the ring. Page tries to sucker punch Evans, but Evans blocks it. Evans punches Page several times. Page is then clotheslined out of the ring. Evans dances in the ring with Sexy Red, and the show goes to a commercial break. After a break, a video package hypes up the arrival of Delta coming soon. Vignette portrays her as a kaiju monster kind of character. She's wreaking havoc through a city. We had a couple of things announced for next week's show. Spin the Wheel, Make a Deal is back because we're getting Halloween Havoc here soon. We also know that did Javon Evans, well, actually, this was announced later, so we'll talk about this later. But we also do know that we're getting the Tony D'Angelo Championship celebration. Lola Vice versus Nikita Lyons. And then Stephanie Vacure versus Ren Sinclair. And before we move forward, we do have a couple bit donations here from Esports Gaming Rules. He says, enjoying NXT from St. Louis, technically Chesterfield. And love the setup. Can't believe we got a title change for the North American Championship. And did Randy Orton did a viral RKO. Okay, well, did you not watch the show? You would have known that they tried to do a viral RKO and they botched it. All Javon's fault. Anyways, he said, as for AEW, can't believe Jake the Snake joined forces with LFI. Yeah, that was weird. And Monet can't catch a break with her titles and her Tony Khan money, and was surprised that Garcia resigned with AEW. Think he going to WWE. I mean, we really don't know because he was never even able to listen to WWE and get an offer from them, as far as I've heard. So he agreed to stay with AEW, I think, before his contract even expired. Versus Stephanie Vacure and Julia forming the Rossi Stardom Marigold connection. How often did Stephanie Vacure actually work Stardom is my question. Let me see. Stephanie Vacure. Cage match. Because it's like, did she work a lot of Stardom? Because I don't know. I know she works some New Japan stuff. A lot of CMLL. It looks like she may have only worked like 2 Stardom matches, and they were all just because of the New Japan connection. Yeah. So she worked in Japan. She worked more for Ice Ribbon, it looks like. Yeah, she only worked the 2 matches with Julia in Stardom. That was it. So it's not like she worked a bunch of Stardom. She did the 1 title match against Julia. Let me see, where did it go? I had it right here. She had the 1 title match against Julia where she defeated her for the Strong Woman's title. And then there was a tag match that she lost. And this person says, did you see the NXT version of the DX State of the Union? Yeah. Kind of felt like a clusterfuck, to be honest. I didn't like it. I thought it was dumb. I get what they were trying to do. But at one point, Sean just goes, hold on. And he flips the page. I don't know if this was on purpose or not, but he flips the paper and goes, hold on, where am I supposed to be on this page? Let me find my spot or something like that. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know about this. Anywho. Main event time. Randy Orton, Javon Evans. So Orton pinned Evans after the RKO, which was botched. But Orton did pick up the victory. As far as the match does go, Evans went for a dive early, but Orton blocked it. Orton then dropped Evans on the announce desk. Orton then dropped Evans several more times on the announce desk, but it didn't implode. Orton kept trying, and he just kept dropping him on the announce table. Evans flew into the commercial break, but Orton cut him off. Orton delivered a draping DDT and teased an RKO. Evans countered with a super kick, but he then hit a springboard into a flying cutter, kind of like the Oz cutter or the Cody cutter. He got a near fall off of it. Evans then got another flying cutter, but Orton blocked it. Orton then went for an RKO, and then he covered Evans for the pin. So basically the finish was Javon Evans trying to do like the Cody cutter with a corkscrew into it. And when he was doing the corkscrew, his body like turned like this. So Orton went to get him for the RKO, and Javon was more, let me see, how can I show this? Damn. We'll do it like this. Basically, this pin is Randy. This is Javon. And Javon was supposed to corkscrew back to Orton so Orton can jump for the RKO. But when Javon gets to Orton, his body's more like this. And so like Orton jumps up for it and they try to do it. They just don't do it. Orton then picks him up, grabs him, RKOs him. Orton then lifts him up, raises his arm, and we immediately cut to the back because this show is in its final seconds. They got to get off the air. We got news coming on. So Wesley's there. Ethan Page is there. They're talking to Ava. They both say that they want to be number one contenders. She tells them both, you got to earn it. But next week, you're going to fight. First shot at the NXT Championship. And the winner will go on and face Trick Williams at Halloween Havoc. And they're both kind of just like, okay, I guess, whatever. And then she goes, oh, by the way, I think I'm going to add Javon and make it a triple threat as well. And we're just like, what? Fool just lost to Randy Orton. Okay, that makes no sense, but whatever. So, yeah, next week it will be a triple threat. Wesley, Ethan Page, and Javon Evans. Winner gets Trick Williams for the NXT Championship at Halloween Havoc. With that, ladies and gentlemen, that was NXT. I thought it was a really good show. A lot of wrestling. A lot of good wrestling. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But then we also had tonight AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday, which I thought was an equal show. I couldn't say I liked one over the other. If I had to choose, I might say NXT just because that woman's four-way, oh my God, was that a clusterfuck of shit. That match sucked, in my opinion. Like, just so much happened in that match. What are we doing here? Yeah. That woman's four-way. Sucks that Britt got injured and we didn't just get, or not injured, sick. And it sucks that we didn't just get Britt versus Willow. No. They did a four-way and well overbooked it. But at Tony Khan's, what do you expect? As far as Dynamite does go, show opens up with a Jon Moxley video. Here's my question. Everyone's over here saying, when's Shane coming? Shane's going to be with Moxley and da-da-da-da. What if it's not Shane? And what if it's Sami Callihan? What if he's doing all of this and being more violent and being more aggressive because Sami Callihan's told him to? Think about that. Now, Moxley just filed a trademark recently for Switchblade Connection, the name of his and Sami Callihan's old group. So I don't know if that is for AEW or something else, but we'll have to wait and see. But something tells me, and I've heard a rumor, that some people think that this could involve Sami Callihan. So AEW Dynamite comes on the air, and Jon Moxley is saying no one wants the blood of the legendary Bryan Danielson on their hands, despite Danielson trying to kamikaze himself. The way things have worked out, it has to be Moxley who gives a wake-up call to AEW. You don't get to pick the day. Everyone living in their fake world. Saturday night, they'll see the truth. Moxley brings up the dark side of Danielson, which is a beautiful thing. He said, as you back the dragon into a corner, it becomes something truly terrifying. Danielson has never been comfortable with that side of himself. But as the world closes in around him, he will have to embrace his dark side. Moxley will be ready, and he doesn't have a choice. There aren't enough people in the state of Washington to stop him from what he does on Saturday. What Moxley stands for is too powerful. Whom shall we fear? Moxley will run into the mouth of a war. So run while you have a chance. As he only hopes that one day Danielson will understand what he has to do. It has to be this way. The stakes are too high. I still don't get it. I don't get it at all. So we cut to Brian. He's in the back. Danielson's backstage from earlier today, bringing up Claudio Castagnoli, telling Sports Illustrated that tonight is his last Dynamite. Danielson said it's not going to be. So that he and Yuta will run through Claudio and Pac tonight. He's been a supporter of Claudio in every company they've worked together in. But tonight, there will be no support. as in Spokane, he will kick his fucking head in. So we cut to the arena. On commentary, it's Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Jeff Jarrett, of all people. That one caught me by surprise. Jeff Jarrett on commentary, which I think Jeff Jarrett's a great commentary guy. Jeff Jarrett can do just about anything in pro wrestling. So, yeah. Esports Gaming Rules says, if it is Sammy, comes to AEW, that means Shane McMahon returns to WWE to confront The Rock, maybe. No. I think Shane's done with WWE. If he does come back, it ain't going to be in any prominent storyline like that. He ain't going to do anything with The Rock. No, they ain't going to do Shane and The Rock. Also, I didn't say no Shane McMahon at all. I'm just saying, what if everyone's thinking Shane and we get Sami Callihan first? I don't know. I just heard something where some people think Sami Callihan could be involved somehow. You got to think, with how violent Mox has been getting, Sami Callihan kind of fits. Excalibur welcomes us to the show with his two commentary teammates, which I'm like, I like Jeff Jarrett on commentary, but it's like, if you don't have a third, just don't give us a third. You don't need to throw somebody on there. But Darby Allin comes down to the ring and he calls out Brody King. Calls him out to says, get your ass to the ring. After King answered Allen's challenge for Wrestle Dream this past weekend. King walks out, and we get highlights of their history together. Allen said that he was so excited that King answered his challenge, but could have asked nicely. And I'm like, what? Okay, you're the one that put out the open challenge, bro. Allen brought up them working together on the indies, staying in crackhead motels, and now King didn't know how his career would end up with a kid on the way. He recalls King being under an ROH contract at the time, prior to Tony Khan buying it, and it was Allen that got King into AEW. He said, thanks to AEW, both of us were able to have our fathers retire. Both of us were able to do things that we never thought we could. But the issue is, King wants Allen's spot, and Allen is the face of AEW. And I'm like, what? You issued an open challenge, and this man said, I'll take your open challenge. Not, he attacked you to take your spot and become you and be the bigger star. And they're trying to shoehorn in a storyline here, in my opinion. And before anyone says, you didn't watch Dynamite or Collision, yeah, I did. So I feel like they're trying to shoehorn in a storyline here that's not really been there, which is kind of weird. Allen said he's the one who does all the promotional work, the talk shows, the interviews, and King interrupts and says, you're right. King says, what happens when Allen climbs Mount Everest? His dad will have to go get a job, because ultimately Allen needs someone to save him from himself. Allen screamed and sat in the corner, begging to start the fight. Now, King hit the cannonball, but King told him to get up. This is all kind of weird. It's like, what? Like, this just felt super weird and awkward. King then went for a choke, but Allen had a rock in his jacket. And so Brody King goes to put him like a rear naked, and Darby gets the rock and he hits him in like the side with it. So Brody King lets go. Darby turns around and cracks him in the jaw with a frickin' rock. Security runs down to get between the two. Brody King then grabs his mouth in his face, and his whole hand is covered in blood. I'm like, what did I just fucking watch? This was weird. Very weird. I don't know what this was, but we're getting Brody King and Darby Allin at the pay-per-view. They're trying to make this feel like it's like a months long even blood feud, where it's like, you just fucking set this up 3 days ago. I don't know. This all just came off very weird to me. So Rampage gets backstage with Lance Archer and Jake Roberts as he brings up Don Callis wanting to recruit Archer. Callis walks in saying, it's an exciting day in AEW, as he and Roberts have done the first talent exchange. And I'm just like, I hate this kind of stuff. I hate the whole, I own this talent You work for me and I have your cotton. No, you all just work fucking AEW. Lance Archer is officially not part of the Don Callis family. We're going to learn in a little bit what that all means as far as with Jake. So, where was I? Lance Archer is officially part of the Don Callis family as Archer shook hands with Callis, who refused to answer Burkett's questions about Will Ospreay, walking off with Archer, who gave one last handshake to Jake before leaving. Burkett then asked Roberts who he got in the trade. He basically told her it's a surprise. Then we see Daniel Garcia walking around backstage, and I go, oh, this is big. This is big. What could this be? As he re-signed with the company. Then we got Hologram and Commander. Crowd was really into the match. And they gave it multiple, this is awesome chants and everything. But I'm like, this was a good match. But I felt like it went a little long. The commentary really put over how Commander is 13-0 on Collision and Rampage. And I think he worked up the pay-per-view as well, but pre-show. And this is his first time on Dynamite. There's a quick series of takedowns early on in this match, so both traded some arm drags and monkey flips, landing on their feet before the stalemate got the crowd going. There's a test of strength that led to a pop-up backflip from the chest of Commander, and a deja vu sent Commander to the outside, where Hologram darted himself, connecting on a tope. Back inside the ring, there was a flapjack and a high kick that got a 2. They both then traded submission counters before Hologram turned things into a snap suplex, and he got control into a commercial break. When things returned, Commander flipped out of a drop down, did a wild somersault springboard series into a Hurricane Rana, and sent Hologram to the outside. Commander then sprung over the top of the dive before going back inside, trying another springboard. Hologram then met him in the corner with a reverse Spanish fly for the reset. Hologram then went for a 450, but Commander got the knees up. Hologram was then back outside. Commander then tried the rope walk dive, but Hologram sprung up. Tried a mid-air Hurricane Rana, only for Commander to counter into a powerbomb. Both men then slowed up and got to their feet and slugged it out. At one point, Commander was spiked with the Poison Rana. Commander then wanted to follow up, but her Hologram popped up with the Poison Rana of his own. Commander then tried a springboard Poison Rana. Say that 5 times fast. The Hologram caught him in a wild airplane spin, sit-out slam, and pinned him to pick up the victory. Well, this was a good match, but again, to me, it felt a little long. Just a little. It felt a little long, like, oh, this is still going. So then all of a sudden, Jake Roberts walks out on the stage. Jake Roberts walks out, and all of a sudden, Roosh, Beast Mordos, and Beast Mordos and Drilistico attack. So they beat them all down. They then do the LFI pose. Then Jake's on the ramp just going. So I guess Jake Roberts is now the manager of Los Fashion Ingobernables, whatever you call it in AEW. Very freaking weird. But okay. LFI is now with Jake Roberts. What? Which the weird thing here is like LFI was not with Don. Roosh, I guess maybe was with the, I don't know. All of this is just like a lot. Flexing Air's backstage with Mark Briscoe. Asked him about the comments from Jericho last week, and he gets very serious. He says, Jericho, you went too far. You crossed the line. You shouldn't have gone there. At Wrestle Dream, doesn't have to be about the ROH title, because I'm going to hurt Jericho. Like, Jericho made this personal when he said, Brother Jay was better than you. Then, Daniel Garcia comes out. Daniel Garcia comes out to the ring. Gets a great reaction from the crowd. He says he's missed this sitting at home. Garcia thanks Tony Khan for giving him this time. As when you're sitting at home, you question what's best for your life, despite it not being the easiest or best answer. Garcia never wanted to be the guy who didn't follow up and follow through on his word. But it felt like it was important to look everybody in the eye and let them know what he was going to do. Garcia came to a conclusion. He can do whatever he really wants, as he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, because he's one of the best. And it's only right that he stays with the best wrestle. He isn't going anywhere. So basically, he has told us, I'm re-signing with All Elite Wrestling. I don't know if he's already re-signed, but Tony was not going to put him out on TV and do this promo if he wasn't or hasn't already re-signed. So Daniel Garcia is not leaving, even though there was WWE interest. We don't know if the contract ever expired for him to actually get the WWE offer. So yeah, old Danny Garcia not going nowhere. Danny Garcia says, I am staying here in AEW, but I'm not the same Daniel Garcia I was before. No longer am I the little bro who complains after every loss. He's the one who you can build a foundation on. And I want gold around my waist. The champions of AEW are no longer safe. He wants to go for a belt. I don't know what belt. TNT belt, maybe, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's the big news coming out of this show is Daniel Garcia is staying with AEW. He is re-signing and will not field options, I guess you would say. They got a video, MVP narrating, talking about Swerve Strickland, who was seen training with EJ and Duca, as it cuts to footage of MVP calling out Strickland's recent failures and blaming them on Prince Nana. We then see MVP and Shelton Benjamin backstage watching, and they tell us Swerve will be a Wrestle Dream. Renee Paquette tried her best to introduce Mercedes Moné in the way Moné does, but she was annoyed. Moné brings up everyone having an issue with her on Twitter and takes a shot at Chris Statlander, or she calls her Chris Stat. Moné then mentions Emi Sakura, wrestling longer than Moné has even been alive, and says that Moné, or money, changes everything. Okay. You go to the back and we see Danny Garcia walking around. Everyone's like, yeah, woo, congratulations. It's like, Cassidy's there, Anna Jay is there, Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy, Colt Cabana. Then he goes up to Katsuyori Shibata and he plays a little message through the phone and he says something like, Wrestle Dream, I TNT champion, and something like that. And the commentator goes, does that mean that if Shibata wins the title, he wants to defend against Garcia? Then they shake hands, they embrace. Yeah. Cool. But Danny Garcia is staying with AEW. So then we got what I call the clusterfuck. Willow, Saraya, Nyla, Jamie, with a shot at the women's title on the line. Oh my God, this match was just pure chaos. It was like, okay, Harley's just going to do whatever the fuck Harley wants. And then Penelope Ford returns. What? I don't even know. So Mariah May was on commentary for this match. They tell us that Britt Baker is sick and cannot travel. That's why the match was changed. May asked if Baker fell on a tongue scraper or gave herself a root canal. The bell sounds as Saraya immediately bails as Rose showed off her power, slamming Nightingale as Hayter quickly took the fight to Rose. After attempting a superplex on Hayter, Nightingale almost cut off Rose with the powerbomb, but Rose countered into a Hurricane Rana. Hayter and Nightingale was about to go face to face when Harley Cameron would then run in with Saraya and attack. Again, it's 4-way, so no DQ, so anything can happen. And this match just turns into a street fight. They brawl on the outside while Rose flew in from out of frame and wiped everybody out. At one point, Harley Cameron punched Hayter right in the face. Got a big reaction from Tony Schiavone. And then May asked if he needed a mint or a blue chew, which popped me. I was like, what the fuck? You just asked me if you needed a blue chew? Back from the break, Hayter avoided a doctor bomb and from Nightingale and hit a Hayter breaker as Saraya ran in with a thrust kick, but was mowed down by Nyla Rose in a clothesline. Nightingale got up and flattened Rose with a spine buster as everybody was down. Commentary brings up that a table has been set up at ringside as May said that she wants her celebration at Wrestle Dream with Mina Shirakawa something that she was robbed of. She's been following Shirakawa, and timeless Tony Storm is dead to her. Hayter somehow hit a double suplex on Rose and Nightingale at the same time, as Saraya tried a chair shot, but was cut off and clocked with a chair by Jamie Hayter instead. Harley Cameron then tried to intervene again, but was dispatched by Hayter. Then, Penelope Ford, of all people, like what the, runs down with a chair and smacks Hayter across the back with it. There's a chance. The crowd then chanted for the tables. Rose hit a neck breaker on Saraya before going to the top, only for Cameron to shove her off, and Rose went splat on the edge of the ring. Harley Cameron had a heck of a time trying to slide the table into the ring. This is funny, as Saraya hit Willow with a good night before finally the table was set up in the corner. Miscommunication from Saraya and Harley Cameron, who was hit with a Nightingale Doctor Bomb, while Saraya was driven through the table with a DVD, as Nightingale stacked both Outcast on each other and Binder to pick up the victory. So yeah, this was just a fucking mess. Holy smokes, I will say. So Nightingale celebrated up the ramp where May was waiting and tried to slap her. Nightingale caught the slap, and then Mariah May headbutted her right in the face. Willow falls face first, and then she starts whipping her with her belt. Whipping her with her belt. Then we go to the back. We got the learning tree. Big Bill said that people who need help most are the ones who want that the least. They all approach Rocky Romero, and Rocky jumps up and goes, "What do you want? You guys want to fight? I'm ready to fight. We duke it out." And they're like, "So we see that your friends asked you to be in the conglomeration after they've had this group for so long. And for what? Bring you in so you can what? Take care of smart Mark Sterling of all people?" Jericho said, "That's the lowest spot possible in AEW where you are right now." Jericho questioned if Rocky wants to be a lackey the whole rest of his career. And Rocky said, "I am no one's lackey." Jericho said he'll become ROH champion this Saturday, and thanks Romero for his time. Keithan told Romero, "Listen, that is Chris Jericho. He is going to be a future ROH world champion, so listen to what he has to say, or else." And I'm like, another what the fuck is this segment? This had nothing to do with nothing. Basically them trying to be like, I'm facing your buddy Mark on Saturday. You might not be able to trust him because he doesn't respect you. That's what I took from this. And I'm like, what the fuck? Then it was Switchblade Jay White against Cody Chun, they said. I think I got that right. Cody Chun. This was Switchblade's first match since July. He fired off some chops. There was a driving shoulder to the midsection. Chun managed a Manhattan drop and a leg lariat as he hit a float over DDT for a 1. White responded with a wild lariat and corner strikes before a half and half suplex sent Chun to the corner. There's a huge Uranagi to spike Chung, which led to a Blade Runner for the win. So Switchblade does pick up the win here. Post-match, White takes the microphone and told Hangman Page that he's one of 2 men who knocked him on his path to the AEW World Championship. Meaning Page is one of 2 wrongs that White must right, and asked what Page is going to do about it. White imagines that Page will come around guns a-blazing, veins a-popping out of his head, and that's perfect. That's what White wants. He wants Hangman versus Switchblade one more time. He said, when I win, he'll move on to correcting wrong number 2 and move on to gold. White said that it's funny. Same voices who booed and despised him are the same voices who will chant Switchblade Jay White. He will then become AEW World Champion, as it all starts with Switchblade or Hangman Saturday at Wrestle Dream. So then Hook's backstage, and again, Hook's not the best promo, but I do appreciate them giving him more promo time to practice and get better. Hook's backstage, and they said he commandeered a camera crew And he's looking for the people that attacked his father. So he yells into the camera, "Whoever you are, I'm going to be here all night. Come and find me because I want to take you out." And, blah. And he backs up against this wall and he bumps into Kip Sabian. And he goes, "Hey, what are you doing here? You the one that attacked my dad?" Kip Sabian's like, "I didn't do it. It wasn't me. What are you talking about, huh? What?" And he lets him go. Christian, Nick Wayne, and Mother Wayne then walk up. You're like, "Have you seen Kip Sabian?" He's like, "Yeah. What do you want?" Cage said that, "I've lost Killswitch recently to a serious medical situation," which, if you don't know, Killswitch was actually hospitalized on oxygen for like 4 or 5 days with bad pneumonia. He says, "So I have sympathy for you. I give condolences to your father because I know your loss." And then Cage and company walk off and Hook's all pissed off. So Christian attacked Taz? I guess? I don't know. Renee Paquette is with Mariah May backstage. Before they can really do anything, in comes Willow. Pounce. Willow then looks into the camera and her face has got dried blood on it. Her lips all busted open. And she basically says that she'll keep this brief. She defeated 3 former world champions tonight. She's not afraid to make another person a former world champion when she beats Mariah May on Saturday. I don't think Willow's winning. I think it's Mariah May. So yeah, Mercedes Moné versus Emi Sakura for both the TBS and NJPW Strong Women's titles. This is Sakura's first match since April in AEW. And then you have to go back a full other April 2023, before you can even find a win for Emi Sakura on this company. So I'm like, what is this? The match was fine. They worked well together, I thought. But it's like, how did Emi Sakura, of all people, get a title shot when she hasn't won a match in almost 2 years in AEW? So both ladies turns backing to the other into the corner, and they fire off some chops. But it was Sakura who connected with a machine gun variation. Sakura then looked to go for a cover. I wrote that weird. But Moné kicked out even before the 1. Both then got up and they collided until Moné scaled the corner with an arm drag, only to run into a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker by Sakura. Moné then sidestepped a corner charge, swept the leg out, and then went for the Meteora off the steps as we go to commercial break. Back from the break, Sakura fired back with some chops, but ate a backstabber out of the corner for a 2. Moné then hit the first double knees, tried again, but Sakura moved, and Moné flew out to the floor. Sakura then zoned in on the legs and hit a splash on the hung-up Moné on the railing. Camille then tried to get in the way as well, and she was knocked down. So then she splashed both of them against the little crossbody against the barricade. Back inside, there's a stalling butterfly backbreaker that connected, but Moné rolled to the ropes, clutching the ropes. The ref then became distracted, placing The ref then became distracted, placing back the apron, as this allowed Camille to trip up Sakura. Moné then hit the statement maker and picked up the victory via submission. So yeah, there we go. Moné wins. Post-match, Moné then held Sakura for Camille to attack, but Chris Statlander would run out, boot Camille to the outside, and Mercedes bailed. Kill. Again, still really no real reason why her and Stokely are no longer together, why she's a babyface. I get it on Rampage. She said, "I've been in groups. I've had a manager. Now it's time for me to do me." But why are you a babyface all of a sudden then? What? Speaking of Stokely, Renee Paquette is backstage with Private Party. She also brings in Stokely Hathaway, who said, "I've been watching you for the last couple of weeks and I have a great opportunity for you. I would like to represent you." Hathaway brings up taking out the most loved person in AEW at All In and imagine what Private Party can do with him. Hathaway offers a hand, and Quinn goes, I'm not one to jump on the bandwagon. And after the last 2 weeks, we've been doing pretty good for ourselves, so thanks, but no thanks. He said, "I think we're going to have to do this on our own." And they talk about taking on the Young Bucks for the tag titles. And then they'll have a party when they win at Wrestle Dream. Tony Schiavone's in the ring, and he welcomes in the international champion, Will Ospreay. Ospreay gets a huge reaction from the crowd to bring up last week with Konosuke Takeshita interfering in the Ricochet match. Schiavone said that this has Don Callis written all over it, and Ospreay agrees. Ospreay puts over Ricochet before saying Takeshita doesn't do anything without Callis giving him the go-ahead. So, he wants answers from Don right now. Don walks out, tries a hug, and Ospreay pushes him back. Callis said that he has something important to say to Ospreay. Last week was difficult for him emotionally because he hates to see Ospreay unhappy. Callis brings up when both he and Ospreay beat Kenny Omega, or when they beat Chris Jericho. Ospreay said that they're here to talk about last week, not last year, and wants to know if Callis sent Takeshita. Callis kept dodging the question before finally giving in, saying that he made the difficult call out of frustration. As Ospreay wouldn't listen, Callis had to show him who made the decisions in this family. Callis brings up 2 weeks ago for being this close to winning tag gold because Ospreay was mentally too weak to win it, though. Ospreay said that he brought Callis the international title, but if Callis didn't stick his nose in his business, he would have been the AEW World Champion as well. Ospreay tells Callis that he doesn't know shit. Callis said that he had the best wrestler in the world in Kenny Omega, and I threw him away in the garbage for you. So maybe I should throw another one of the best wrestlers away as well one more time. Oh, that was a great line saying, hey, I kicked Kenny to the curb for you. Maybe you kick somebody else to the curb for you. Maybe that's what I did. I really like that line. Ospreay said that Callis is everything everyone warned him about. He's utter scum, and they're done. Callis then slapped Ospreay, and Ospreay threw down Callis before Takeshita would run in the ring and the two would fight. Kyle Fletcher then hit the ring, trying to talk sense into Ospreay, but the distraction allowed Takeshita to hit a release German suplex. Callis then handed Fletcher the screwdriver, but Fletcher refused to use it. Takeshita tried to talk sense into Fletcher, who stormed off, and Ospreay continued to fight with Takeshita until Don pulled his hair back, holding him long enough for Takeshita to hit a big forearm. Takeshita then went for the belt shot when Ricochet ran out with a springboard forearm as Takeshita and Callis bailed. Ricochet held up the international title before handing it back to Will Ospreay. I thought this was a strong segment to build up the triple threat for the pay-per-view this Saturday. I like this. I thought this worked very well. Don Callis is amazing on the microphone. Will Ospreay cuts great promos. Their back and forth was really good. And yeah, this actually was a positive. Top Flight's backstage. They're with Action and Andretti. Pissed off that they lost on Collision last week, not wrestling the Young Bucks on Saturday. Andretti tried to scold them when Layla Gray said that it's all about Andretti's fault, or it's all Andretti's fault anyways, as his actions screwed them. Conte told Darius, it's those things that are going to continue to cost them, and left with Layla, leaving Darius conflicted. Do I stick with my brother, or do I go with Action? Jack Perry is sitting in the back and said Shibata is considered a legend. The embodiment of the fighting spirit. There was a turkey leg in his trunks. I'm like, okay. You tell us he's got a big hog or something? Page said that Shibata lets his phone do the talking, but wants to speak Shibata's old language. Fighting in the ring. Shibata might deserve to be the TNT champion, but it's not about to happen when he has the title. He's not taking it from him. This TNT title means that Perry is the best, and for Shibata to come take it from him. And I'm like, actually, the world title means you're the best. TNT title means you're really, really good. A couple more bit donations here from Esports Gaming Rules. It says, is the CEO of WBD in the hot seat, even though his friends of AEW and Tony Khan finally got their TV deal? I don't know. Because even though we assume the NBA is gone off of TNT, there's still litigation that they're trying to keep the NBA. And this person says, are Dave Meltzer and WBD co-owners Okay, first off, Dave is not. Dave does not own any part of AEW. As far as WBD does go, there is a slight chance that they own like 3 to 5%. But Dave, no. I can almost say with certainty, no, Dave does not own any part of AEW. So let me move on to our main event match. AEW champion Bryan Danielson and 1/3 of the Trios champions Wheeler Yuta against the other 2/3 of the Trios champions Claudio Castagnoli and Pac. I will say it was a really good main event, and the crowd was fully behind Danielson and Yuta. They told a great story with this match. The final countdown played for Danielson and Yuta as commentary questioned the significance of that. Could this be final time we see Danielson wrestle on Dynamite? Remember, if he loses, like it's not, because even if the thing is, if he loses the title to Moxley, he's no longer a full-time pro wrestler. His full-time career comes to an end. He could still show back up. He could still have 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 matches a year. He just won't be a full-time active wrestler. So Danielson took out Castagnoli on the apron with a running knee as he back flipped out of the corner to avoid Pac, hit a suicide dive on Castagnoli before Yuta flew in with a tope drop kick on Pac. Both Danielson and Yuta hit double dives before Pac. Back inside, Danielson applied a surfboard. Fast tags from everybody. Yuta kept Pac in the corner. Pac then went for the eyes, as this allowed Castagnoli to make the tag and go after Danielson, isolating him in the corner. Yuta managed to tag and ran wild as a snap German suplex on Pac got a near fall. But Yuta held on into a cattle mutilation. Castagnoli then broke the hold, pulling Yuta up as Yuta slapped him, but Castagnoli held back from throwing a punch. Excuse me. Danielson then ran in with an attack, tried another dive, but Castagnoli caught him in midair and hit a neutralizer as Pac fired a thrust kick and Yuta thrust kick on Yuta to take over during a break. At one point, Danielson flew off the top rope with a missile dropkick, followed by a corner charging dropkick and more kicks and chops. There's a corner Hurricane Rana attempt that was blocked as Castagnoli tried an avalanche Ricola bomb, but Danielson countered into a Hurricane Rana. Yes, kicks connected as Danielson calls the kick Castagnoli in the head as he stomps down repeatedly until Pac broke it up. He locked on a brainbuster. He looked for a brainbuster, but Danielson slammed him down by the shoulder. Gotta lose my voice here, feels like. Excuse me. There was an uppercut to the neck by Castagnoli, who tried another, but Danielson got a backslide for a 2. Danielson wanted the finish until he spotted Jon Moxley and Marina Shafir. Also, speaking of all of them, this is the first time we got this new music and Titantron video for all of them, because when Claudio and Pac came out, they had a special video that showed the 4 of them, and there was like new music I hadn't heard before. Was this new? I believe so. Anyways, we see John and Marina, which allowed Claudio to take advantage of the distraction. He hit an uppercut, and there was a 450 splash by Pac that got a 2. Shafir then distracted the referee as Pac quickly went for the ring attendant hammer, but Yuta took it from him. Danielson was up and locked Pac into the bell lock. Pac did submit. Post-match, Danielson immediately hit a dive on Moxley, and they brawled up the ramp. Claudio and Yuta argued on the apron as Pac kicked Yuta to the floor, where Shafir started beating him up. Backstage, the fight continued with Danielson and Moxley as Danielson threw Moxley into a garage door. Castagnoli, with the hammer in his hand, told Shafir and Pac to hold up Yuta, who he hit in the gut with the hammer repeatedly. Remember last week, he looked like he wouldn't put his hands on Yuta. Danielson and Moxley then brawled back to the ring as Pac was sent flying, and Castagnoli ate a Busaku knee. Moxley then was sent tumbling up the ramp to Shafir as Danielson stood tall before tending to Yuta, helping him up to end the show. And then final countdown plays. Honestly, I thought we were going to get maybe Yuta going with the BCC turning on Danielson, but nope. Yuta is still with Danielson. And finally, Claudio has said, Yuta, you don't want to listen? We got to beat you down too. So, great main event. Great closing angle. Hype everybody up for the show. No collision this week. There will be a Rampage, I believe. Let's see if we have spoilers for that. I'm not seeing. Let me see. AEW Rampage spoilers. I don't know. Here we go. Yes. We do have Rampage spoilers. So this does come from PWU Insider. And if you give me 1 second, I'm going to get the spoiler alert graphic up so that way if you don't want to be spoiled, you'll know when to click off. Give me 2 seconds. Grab that. All right, so spoiler alert, everybody. AEW Rampage. So following tonight's AEW Dynamite, they did film a Rampage. On commentary was Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Jeff Jarrett. The same from Dynamite. Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy did defeat Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. Chris Statlander did defeat Amira. The Beast Mordos defeated The Butcher. Roderick Strong was on commentary for this match. Lance Archer defeated Matt Branningen. Never heard of him. Don Callis was on commentary for this. Then this is where things get a little interesting. The Acclaim came out. They were attacked from behind by MXM Collection, who laid them out. Mansoor then declared that they will beat them tomorrow at the pay-per-view and take their spot. What spot? They said that they are going to have a special surprise tomorrow in their corner that will make sure that they kill Scissoring forever. It was said to be a good promo by Mansoor. And then finally, Brian Keith did defeat Rocky Romero. So the big question is, who's going to be with MXM Collection? Who are they bringing in? That's a very interesting one. Who is going to be the person in the corner of MXM, I guess, at WrestleDream? Match hasn't officially been announced, but I guess we're getting MXM versus the Acclaimed at WrestleDream. With that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, I will be back live on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. Then we got WrestleDream on Saturday. We'll see you back here for that as well. With that, have a great night. Have a great week. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys. All right, if you're still watching live, we're going to go hit a raid really fast.